Welcome to Real Siblings. It Ain't Easy. This podcast that I do with my brother Eric, that is a little bit of real estate, a little bit of lifestyle, and right now a little bit of the Advent season.
Yeah.
I'm Donna, and if you don't already know this, it's my brother Eric. We are both real estate agents, and I'm in Southern Arizona. Eric's in San Antonio area. And we are on the fourth of some shorter podcasts we've done through this season, talking about the Advent wreath in the Christian church and the candles. We have done hope and peace and joy. And we're wrapping it up today with love. Love.
See, and I heard the Beatles. Love, love, love.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs about love, aren't there?
Love. Yeah, good love, bad love, falling in love, falling out of love, breaking up is hard to do.
Yeah.
50 ways to leave your lover. I mean, pick a genre, pick an episode, pick a whatever. You can find a song about love.
So it's another one of those words that we use. And from a biblical perspective, there's, the fact that God gave his son in love, to us here in humanity. But
on 3:16, right?
Yeah. What a word that we throw around. I always want to say as Americans, but I think everybody everywhere uses the word love for many things. Pizza, pets, vacations, sunsets, kids, parents, grandparents, whatever. So what you and I were just talking, you did a little bit of research on the meaning of love. What did you say? Greek? Is that where you went?
Yeah, I went back to the Greek because taking this back to the Advent wreath, New Testament, much of the New Testament was written in Greek because Paul was fluent in Greek. So he wrote in Greek. And there are so many things within whatever common translation you use, whether that's a King James version, whether it's New King James, New Literal, New International Version. I mean, there's a variety. But so many of the words, it's like, well, we're just going to say this is love and this is love. But the words of the original author were different, and that comes from the Greek. And it's because there are basically four primary different words that were used to represent love: eros, erotic, romantic love; philia, brotherly love; storge, which is familial love; and then agape, which is unconditional. There are no absolutes. You cannot earn it. You don't deserve it. It's just their agape love. And that
like
is
forms of grace.
The love of God in giving his son. And that is why love is the fourth Advent candle. The fifth one would be the Christ candle. So it is a demonstration of God's love. I said John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Yeah.
And
so I want to interject something right here, that we're coming at this from our perspective, from the way we grew up, from the way that we celebrate, from going to the churches that we go to now. I want those of you who are of any other faith or lack of faith, from a biblical perspective, like my children, but I think about my Jewish friends, and I love the way see, here I go, the love when they light the candles on the menorah and the way they celebrate it. I have spent some way more time this year with a Muslim friend and learned so much more about that religion. And so I don't want anybody to feel like we're pushing this, in any way, shape, or form, our belief.
It is a perspective.
Correct.
And yeah, you're right. There's so many different cultures. And every culture approaches this differently, which is why the Greek culture had 4 words for it, or more.
Yeah.
And why, I did a quick reference.
Yeah.
Last episode, you said you used Chat. I used Grok for this quick search using our AI tools. We are so advanced now.
Yeah. And I told you that
Brock is the one who said, what are Japanese words?
Yeah, there were so many other meanings of the word love in other languages. And I always relate it back to snow in the Inuit culture and stuff where, they knew what kind of snow it was, and we just say snow, or we say wet snow, we have to put another adjective there, or, big flakes, whatever. But I think it was Norwegian that had a specific word for love. And I can't remember that there was 4 or 5 of them. One of them had to do with the reuniting of people who maybe hadn't seen each other for a long time. One of them had to do, and I think this was Portuguese, and I think it was South American Portuguese, that had a word for somewhere past that instant attraction when you're kind of leaning and starting to fall in love, but you're not really there yet, so you're not going to say I love you. And
things are clicking, but they're not
right.
Run away, run away, run away.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think in Spanish, it's what, te quiero and te amo, right? So to me, te quiero, I want you. That is, I don't know. That's interesting. Do you automatically think of the wanting from a love perspective? Just putting it out there.
Okay. So you said te amo, and then I heard amor.
Amor.
Amore. And so immediately it's like some of the most ridiculous lyrics from a song I think you could ever recall is Dean Martin. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie.
That's amore.
That's amore. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? How many times have you looked at somebody's face going, I think you got pepperoni in there?
Oh yeah. It's drawing me to you. So as we think about real estate. So we've talked, briefly in these about what we feel like we do in our jobs to celebrate hope and peace and joy and now love. And I was looking at my notes about how marriages create a love story, which can mean a buyer. And then those buyers may have children, which can mean a bigger house. I'm working with that kind of a couple right now.
So they're in the process of upsizing?
Yeah, they are upsizing. 2 children pretty close together. Second one wasn't intended to be so close to first, and now they're like, okay, got to get out of this space where we are. But I also think of this a lot about the creating memories, because I also now, Tucson is filled with baby boomers this time of year, right? The people who are my age that may have a second home that come or go for 6 months, and then those people who are 80, 81, 82, 85, pushing, maybe they're still part of the generation prior to me, and they're leaving a home they love, a place where memories were made for 30 years. And that's not easy. And they may have had, well, I just said, we just got our card from Aunt Mary Lou and Uncle Barry, and they celebrated Uncle Barry's 90th birthday. And everybody was there that could be there. That was their kids, their spouses, their grandkids, some of their great grandkids. A whole lot of love around there, and I love to get in the card.
Yeah. And of course, I looked at the picture going, who did he add? Who did he drop in? Who didn't make it to the party?
No, they were all there in person. Those were all in person this time, Eric.
No, they weren't.
I think so. Yeah, I think because there was 1 or 2 missing from the picture, but I think everybody else, I don't think that he had to cut and paste anybody this year.
Wow.
That's right.
That's impressive. And I know that was least amount of work he had to do on that for a long time. And all right, so you're mentioning our aunt and uncle, and our Uncle Barry was the outlaw. He married into the family, married our dad's sister, Mary Lou. And very, I want to say, maybe early on is wrong, but decades ago at this point, Aunt Mary Lou had nervous breakdown and had always appeared that she was the more frail of her 2 older brothers. And beyond just the feminine aspect of it, she just always came across so gentle, so soft-spoken, and in diminishing health. Now we're talking 2 89 and 90-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still together, that Uncle Barry has helped care for her in ways that
Never
go beyond
expected, probably.
what is love, where there are other people who have a lesser constitution who would jump and run.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not what I expected. And, you know, Jeannie and I, my lovely wife, have talked before about when you went through those vows at the altar, if you got married, did you ever think 30 years from now, what are the words that I'm saying right now mean, and project that forward? Heck no. You didn't think auto accidents. You didn't think body breakdown. You didn't think cancer. You didn't think any of those words that went with it. It was that unabashed, still for the most wide-eyed, the world is our oyster. We're going to go find our pearls.
Yeah.
And you just look back at it now going, even when Jeannie and I got together, we'll be celebrating our 25th this year coming up. We were adults. It's not like we were the kids anymore. We were adults when we got together. And there's still an aspect of it. Did you ever picture?
No.
As a 36 and a 40-year-old, where you were going to be now that you're 60 and 64-year-olds?
Eric, I also think that there is a piece of us that I was talking about this with Derek, and Jeannie's been talking with Derek online about his health. Derek is a friend of mine, you all, and how on the outside you look fine, and inside you're a mess. Mm-hmm. And that's the piece that people don't see. That's the piece that is, unless you can't stand up straight. I mean, whatever, some things that have happened from breakage and stuff like that. But to be honest, you and your lungs, Derek and his kidney, there, you know, Jeannie and her, there's a whole lot of things happening inside that people don't see. And it's the love and the care that allows people to get through hard times. And it's also what can make it so much harder if you're alone.
Yes, that all of a sudden you get, that's why we talk about this season being such a time of joy, and fellowship and everything. And for some people, it's the worst time of isolation of the year.
Yeah.
The time they feel most isolated. You know, I talked about Aunt Mary Lou and Uncle Barry, but what about our dad and our mom?
Yeah.
And the way our neighbor Helen always stood up for dad after mom passed away. And it's like, you all have no idea
what he did,
how much he did for her and took care of her. I think the other thing I remember joking about is the fact that he was not allowed to shave her legs when she was at a point where she couldn't.
Yeah,
like,
well,
oh no.
And he perfected pumpkin pies being at home with mom alone. Became this like thing he could do. But you're right, even living in town, and I would pop by, I was running the bakeries, you know, at the different places, either at the Andersons or up at Kmart.
Yep.
And so I helped, but how fortunate that dad had a job where he could do that.
That he could do that.
He did not have to punch a clock. And if I needed to help, I could be there to help. Or neighbors, that small town thing. When the church guys built the ramp for the wheelchair outside the house, that comes from a place of love.
It absolutely does.
It's a different kind of love, right?
Yeah. Is that the familial? Is that the brotherly love? Is that and I think it's a little bit, in that case, it would be a little bit of both. What's the word for that?
Yeah.
Because mom had done so much for so long for so many people.
Different ways.
In and around town.
Yeah.
At church. And that it was like, now we give back.
Yeah. So I want to ask you as Santa.
Yes.
Have you ever had one of the kids sit on your lap and just say, I love you, Santa?
Yes.
Have you? Are they 3-year-olds? Are they 5-year-olds? Is there an age where I gotta believe to begin it's just awestruck, whatever age that could be. And then and the crying ones, because we know that happens too, because our cousin Barbara used to cry all the time.
Yes.
But like, what age is the person who might hug you and say, I love you, Santa?
Okay, you know what? I wish that line is blurred.
Okay.
I have little ones who don't even say it, but they just melt. Mm. I think I mentioned in the first one, the little girl with Down syndrome.
Which was like hugging you or something?
Yeah, she just, her mom and her auntie were there, and she would not get settled or anything else. But as soon as they stepped out of the picture, she just rolled over and leaned into me and was out.
You did
You
say that.
mentioned in the previous one of these, the kids at our church, and they do. And I mean, I walk in the door, one of the little guys was having trouble. It was August. And I picked him up and he just leaned in and melts into me.
Which has got to be great for mom and dad too, you know.
I had to get another picture with a young lady named Jaya. And her mom is just like, no, you do not understand. You two are her favorite people. She brings you up every day and can't wait for the next time she's going to see you. So we got a picture with Cheryl and her daughter, Jaya. And then there's the older. She was working in hospitality the night of our cantata. And because we had barbecue and burgers and tamales and everything else as part of the service, she's like, I didn't get a picture. Can I get a picture today? And I was like, you're talking about an 18, 19, 20 plus year old who's like, no, we want a picture with you too. Come on. So it's not a defined line. I try to be very, very careful as I've gotten connected and you do more of this. Unfortunately, the world that we live in is the other side of things. And there is a big draw. One of the guys that I know from Louisville, Kentucky, and he and I personally had coffee. He's currently over in Hong Kong, working at the airport. He's in Hong Kong, working at the airport for all the international travelers playing Santa Claus in Hong Kong.
Wow.
Right? So he got there, he landed, had the next day after to get checked in and climatized. He went up to see the giant Buddha statues, did that thing, and is now down back in the airport today. When you start getting to those positions, we have to carry insurance. And we have to carry insurance nowadays, primarily related to
all the modern things you have to worry about.
And one of the people here in Helotes, another gentleman that I know in the hometown, he works out in the casinos. He has to carry a multi-million-dollar liability policy because when the drunk honeys out in the casinos wake up the next morning and take a look at a picture on their camera and think that there's things. So you'd like to say, like everything, it's easy, it's simple, it's one thing. It's not. Yes, there is a certain amount of unabashed when I get kids every single day, every single time I'm at the church, they run away from their parents. Parents are initially panicked, then they see where they're running to and give you the, oh, I should have known kind of look.
Eric, so I saw a picture with Mr. and Mrs. Claus in it the other day, and it was funny because Santa just didn't look happy at all. He looked very tired. But I also wonder, this sounds weird, does your real beard, you think, make a difference?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know I've joked about the care that he has for his beard. He takes way longer to get ready to do something than I do. And
but look,
it does. No, it looks good. I don't know that I'd want to deal with it year round or whatever, but it's your thing. So can you think of, clearly you love what you do, and I want to get that point in. You love this part of your life. I think you love it way more than you love real estate. You like knowledge. You like learning. We like helping people. But this brings you joy to the point where there's been conversations about your health, because people, when you get a million little kids on your laps during the season with snotty noses, people get sick. And the truth is, Eric gets sick. He doesn't just get a little sick. He gets really sick.
It was this time of wrapping up last year that I started heading into the new year and ended up hospitalized.
So this is something that you clearly love. Do you recall, you know what, when you first did it back in Ohio, you posted that on that retro page.
On the retro
and stuff from back. Was that at JCPenney's or Joseph's? Or at Joseph's?
That was at Joseph's.
Did you think about it then because Grandpa had done it? Did you think about it because you loved kids? What do you think even drew you to doing this?
Combination. Yes, Grandpa was definitely an influence. At that point, we had with Grandpa passing away in 79 and I started in 82, so 3 years later, we had that black and white photo that hangs inside my front door of him working for Marshall Fields. So that was definitely an influence.
Yeah.
Mom fed that. She's the one who went to Frankenmuth. She's the one that went to Bronner. She's the one who got me my first suit. I'm sitting there thinking what I pay for suits now and what she paid for a suit then. And I'm thinking my first costume with wig and everything was probably, I'm thinking 45 to 50 bucks. And it's easy to drop thousands of dollars on a professional Santa suit or the accessories or the pieces that go with it. But yes, definitely, as I've done it more and more, there's so many memories. There's so much fun. It is unabashedly, for me, fun to make other people laugh. Even to the point now, I've gotten good with what I call my escape photos. So there are children who love and melt. There are children who, like Cousin Barb, want nothing to do with it, like, right? So you can do the crying face. And I said, okay, look, everybody's got camera nowadays. This is what we're going to do. We can obviously see this is the way this is going to go. Who's the baby going to run to best? Mom or dad? Okay, then you get over here and the other one get the camera. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start, be ready to capture the picture. I'm letting them go. They're going to run to you. And I'm going to do the outstretched hands. And they're like, oh my gosh, this picture is fabulous, because they're there, they're getting the perspective, they're running to the family, they got Santa's kind of, wait, come back, and they're loving the photos. But it's something you learn with practice. I talked to a young guy yesterday as I was finishing up, and he's got me by a couple of inches in height and got a pretty stout beard, and he says, man, as this starts to go gray, I'm going to do this. And I just gave him, I said, look, here's some pointers from a 43-year-old. I said, because you're going to get lots of different opinions. I said, you, be faithful to who you are, and be interactive. I said, don't let people tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that. I'm working to join an organization called the Silent Knights of Santa. One of the requirements they have is Santa school. Now, I can tell you, I still have not run into a Santa. I had somebody the other day who started in 88, but that means I still got him by 6 years. I said, I've never gone to school. I never felt the need to go to school. I said, I've been doing this for 43 years. There's not too much I can learn.
Going to school. Yeah.
But I am thinking I'm going to try to pick up an ukulele for this next year to start doing some Christmas songs on ukulele.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up, sis.
I could talk about Santa, but you know what, Eric, what I like about this is that incorporating a little bit of our faith, a little bit of our jobs, a little bit of your extra job, your seasonal job that seems to get longer and longer.
Will be my retirement job when I decide to do that.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we, during these 6 weeks since Thanksgiving or however long it is, when people think about all of this a lot, people are somebody bought my coffee at Circle K the other day because I couldn't get my stupid $1 bills out that I wanted to pay cash and get them into the machine. She had already walked toward the door and she saw me, she came back and she just took her card.
Right? And you've got to pay it forward.
Yeah.
And that was a trend during the movies. And occasionally you'll see a story and it's like the person drove up and I'm buying the guy behind and I'm buying the guy behind and I'm buying the guy behind. And they do that at some coffee.
But it was part of it, I think, because she just saw me looking like an idiot. But the other thing was she had already left and came back. And I thought that was just so kind. I walked out to the car and I was with young Eric and I said, Eric, she just bought my coffee and stuff. So anyway, it was very sweet. Show you guys, have hope for the new year. Take deep breaths and have some peace. Laugh, love, live with those around you and have some joy. And I already used
the hope of the season, the peace of the season, the joy of the season, and the love that comes
from all
in the season.
Yeah. You want to say bye?
Oh,
that's all we need.
I hope you've all had a merry time listening to these last few episodes of the podcast. My name's Eric, or Chris, or Nick, or Nicholas, or she, on the other hand,
Donna.
Is only Donna Reed.
Just Donna.
That's it, Donna Reed. Think.
Yeah, super.
One of the most classic Christmas movies ever.
It is a wonderful life. Thanks for listening, you guys. Happy season and Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2026.